Alright, welcome to another Python for DevOps video. I want to get back to wild networking at some point, but for now I'm making really good progress on this book, so I might as well keep going. My expertise doesn't exactly lie in DevOps. It's more network engineering, and it's more, what would you call it, like net DevOps. It's more focused on the actual networking side instead of the software side. So it's good to kind of fill in the gaps in my knowledge here and get some first exposure to that kind of stuff. I think first exposure to ideas and concepts is an important step to learning. All right, so this is the control file. This is the file that defines the package name, its description, and any dependencies needed for building and running the project. It also has a strict format, but it doesn't need to change much, unlike the change log. The file ensures that Python 3 is required and that it follows Debian's Python naming guidelines. In the transition from Python 2 to Python 3, most distributions settled on using the following schema for Python 3 packages: Python 3-package name. After adding the dependencies, naming conventions, and a short description, this is how the file should look. Which file? Oh, the changelog file? I don't know what file they're talking about. Oh, is it? How did it look before? Because it says, after adding the dependencies, naming conventions, and a short description, this is how the file should look. But what did the file look like before we added the dependencies, naming conventions, and a short description? Yeah, I'm lost here. Oh well, let's just power ahead. Okay, but I will get my lab running so that I have access to a Linux host. Other required files. There are a few other files needed to produce a Debian package. Most of them are just a couple of lines long and change infrequently. The rules file is an executable file that tells Debian what to run to produce the package. In this case, it should look like the following. And this is the rules file. The compat file sets the corresponding DEB helper, another packaging tool. Compatibility recommended to be set to 10 here. You might check to see whether a higher value is required if an error message complains about it. Without a license, the build process might not work, and it is a good idea to state the license explicitly. This particular example uses the MIT license, and this is how it should look in Debian/copyright. All right. Oh, okay, here's the license. So permission is hereby granted free of charge to any person obtaining a copy of this software and associated documentation files, the software, to deal in the software without restriction, including without limitation, the rights to use, copy, modify, merge, publish, distribute, sublicense, and/or sell copies of the software, and to permit persons to whom the software is furnished to do so, subject to the following conditions. The above copyright notice and this permission notice shall be included in all copies or substantial portions of the software. The software is provided as is without warranty of any kind, express or implied, included but not limited to the warranties of merchantability, fitness for a particular purpose, and non-infringement. In no event shall the authors or copyright holders be liable for any claim, damages, or other liability, whether in an action of contract, tort, or otherwise, arising from, out of, or in connection with the software or the use or other dealings in the software. Finally, after adding all these new files to the Debian directory, the Hello World project looks like this. Oh, well shoot, I didn't add any of the new files to it. You know what, I'm gonna just keep going on. Producing the binary. To produce the binary, use the dbuild command line tool. For this example project, the package remains unsigned. The signing process requires a GPG key, and the dbuild documentation uses an example that allows skipping the signing. This script is run from inside the source tree to build only the binary package. This command works for the Hello World project, truncated version shown here. Okay, so that's not going to work because I don't have those extra files. So let's see the error message. Yep. So there's no Debian rules here. Are you in the source code tree? I believe I am. Yeah, I am, but I don't have the rules file. Let's compare what I have to what they've got there. Okay, so they've got Hello World, perfect. Setup is within the... Oh, okay. So they've got the Debian file. Yeah. Debian file has some extra stuff. It's got a changelog. We've got that. But the README file and the setup.py file are no longer in the Debian folder. So let's change that. Okay, so now we've got it looking a little bit more similar. We've got README and setup just in the folder. Then we've got a Debian folder. But all we've got is the changelog. We don't have the compat control, copyright, or rules file. And we still have our dist. So, you know what? I can't copy paste from here. So we're going to move on without being able to copy and paste at all. Yeah, it's just too difficult. That's too bad. All right, but yeah. So here's what we would have seen if we can go and do this. But I'm just moving on since I can't copy paste from the book, and I don't want to type all of those files, especially since I really don't think I'll be doing anything like this in the near future. I mean, maybe, but as I said, I'm more focused on the networking side of DevOps than the software side right now. A Python 3 hello world 001 all.deb should now exist in the upper directory. The lintian call, a Debian packaging linter, complains at the very end that the changelog file has an invalid distribution, which is fine because we aren't targeting a single distribution in particular. For example, Debian Buster. Rather, we are building a package that will most likely install in any Debian-based distro that complies with the dependencies. Only Python 3 in this case. Alright, Debian Repositories. There are many tools to automate Debian repositories, but it is useful to understand how to go about creating one. Alfredo even helped develop one for both RPM and Debian. To continue, ensure that the binary file package created previously is available at a known location. For this section, the pre-pro tool needs to be installed. You know what? They're going to do a whole bunch with this, so let's just bite the bullet and do it. Why not? Okay, so I'm going to need the compat file. Yeah, I've got the changelog file already. So let's add the missing files here. So we'll go into Hello World Debian and we'll do touch compat, touch control, touch copyright, touch rules. Okay, and then our hello world looks good. Oh, and we've got this egg here. We won't need that anymore, so let's remove that. And we also won't need the dist file anymore. Okay, so this looks a lot more familiar. We've got the README and the setup. That was always good. We've got the hello world with init and main. And then we've got, oh, it looks like copyright is all in uppercase, so I'm going to change that. But we got the rules looks right, the control looks correct, compat, and changelog. So I just need to fix the copyright file. Okay, so now that I've created all the files, let's go and add contents to the files. So here's the license file. We've also got the rules file, but we got to go all the way back. It looks like this is the, yeah, so the control file. Yeah, so we got the changelog already. We used the tool to create that. So let me print out the changelog. So that's in the right. That looks good. Next, we're going to do the control file. Okay. So now this looks like it's in YAML, so the syntax is going to be really important here, but luckily it is really easy to follow, much easier than JavaScript. Okay, so here we've got, so I know how to use YAML, so we wouldn't put this on a new line. It's just the way the book is showing it. If we were to maintain YAML syntax, we put this on the same line here. Okay. Okay, so this is the version. This means that the version is more recent or equal to this version 11. I'm not sure what the squiggly means. I think it means any version of version 11. But I could be wrong about that. It's guessing in the face of uncertainty is often not a good idea, because then if you guessed and you kind of made your mind up that your guess was correct and your guess turns out not to be correct, you've now got to rewire your mind to let go of that false answer you had. So it's oftentimes better just to say, I don't know enough about this to form an opinion on it. Okay, I don't know where this came from. There you go. Looks like we got one more line in this file. Okay. Alright, so a few other required files. Next is going to be the rules file. I'm not sure what remoto stands for. Okay, so next is going to be the compat file. So the compat file sets the corresponding dev helper and other packaging tool compatibility. Recommended to be set to 10 here. You might check whether a higher value is required if an error message complains about it. So we're going to do nano compat, and then we can see from this cat statement here the contents of this file is just 10. But we might need to bump it up if there's an error. I have a feeling that won't be the first error we encounter though. But we'll know to bump that up if we see that file being referenced in the error. Okay. Okay, so I'm not sure if I need to type all of this out. You know what? Let's just type it all out. Typing exercise. Mavis Beacon time over here. Okay, let's stop it there actually, because the word wrapping is weird. But okay, let's stop it there. We're not going to include the whole thing there. And then let's see here. So okay, so we've got our directory looking good. So let's try to produce the binary. Okay, so we've got a command here. It looks like maybe I have like a sudo command in one of these files. I don't need sudo because I'm logged in as the user already. No, I don't see anything. I don't see like a sudo command or anything. Okay, but what I can do, and the best thing to do usually, is put this in Google. Okay, so I got to give it a fake root. Okay, so I've got, face root. Let me try with fake root. Okay, so I've got an issue with fake root. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think it'll be fine to skip it. I wish I could do it, but I can't. I'm throwing in the towel. Okay, a hello world, a Python dash hello dash world underscore 0.0.1 underscore all.deb should now exist in the upper directory. A lintian call, a Debian packaging linter, complains at the very end that the changelog file has an invalid distribution, which is fine because we aren't targeting a single distribution in particular, for example, Debian Buster. Rather, we are building a package that will most likely install any Debian-based distro that complies with dependencies, only Python 3 in this case. Debian Repositories. There are many tools to automate Debian repositories, but it is useful to understand how to go about creating one. Friday even helped develop one for both RPM and Debian. To continue, ensure that the binary package created previously is available at a known location. Mine failed, so we're just going to move on. For this section, oops, I lost my place. Okay, the repro tool needs to be installed. Create a new directory somewhere in the system to hold packages. This example uses /opt/repo. The basic configuration for a repository needs a file called distributions that describes the contents and looks like this. Okay, I think I have a extra bookmark. No, it looks like I don't. Save this file at /opt/repo/conf/distributions. Create another directory to hold the actual repo. To create the repo, instruct repro to use the distributions file created, and that the base directory is opt repo debian sid. Finally, add the binary previously created as a target for the Debian sid distribution. This command creates the repo for the Debian sid distribution. This command can be adapted for a different Debian-based distribution, such as Ubuntu Bionic, for example. To do so would only require replacing sid with Bionic. Now that the repo exists, the next step is to ensure that it works as expected. For a production environment, a robust web server like Apache or Nginx would be a good choice, but to test this, use Python's http.server module, change directories to the directory containing the repository, and start the server. Aptitude, or APT, the Debian package manager, needs some configuration to be aware of this new location for packages. This configuration is a simple file with a single line in it pointing to the URL and contents of our repo. Create a file at etc apt sources.list.d/hello-world.list. It should look like this. The trusted equals yes configuration tells apt not to enforce signed packages on repositories that are properly signed. This step is not necessary. After adding the file, update apt so that it recognizes the new location. And look for and install the Hello World package. Oh, that's cool. You can add it to, so you can apt-get the package. Searching for the Python 3 Hello World package provides the description added in the distribution files when configuring repo. Okay, apt cache search, we're looking for it, found it. Installing, we found the description in the distributions file. Installing and removing the package should work without a problem. Yeah, you know what, it didn't work for me. And this is cool. I like how you can get this from the sudo apt-get now. And I would like to be able to do that successfully, but I cannot. And the reason I can't is because of this here. Warning, using a gain root command while being root. Fake root not defined. Which is strange because like that's not the command I ran. I ran it without the fake root. Okay, let's see what else we got. You know what? I'm fading fast, so we're gonna stop it here. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one where we go over RPM packaging. Let me clean up my bookmarks. Okay, so we'll be going over RPM packaging next. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.